How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
67th. 50 plus score, my God. It's amazing how he just does it without a fuss, if it's fair to say, Puji.
Yeah, it is, and look, he's sticking to his game. This was a perfect platform for him to bat the way he bats. And I also want to mention Devdutt Padikkal because...
I was going to, don't worry.
Yeah. No, but it was the partnership which allowed him to bat the way Virat bats because there was no pressure. He could bat with a strike rate of 140, and RCB needed that. We saw it in the last game where they were a little reckless when they lost too many wickets, but they laid a proper foundation for Virat to bat the way he normally bats. And whenever they are chasing, Virat knows he has the experience now. Yeah. So I mean, he's the best when it's not just the T20 format, but even in the ODI format. Whenever the team is chasing, he knows what is expected out of him.
Yeah, Padikkal innings important one. If Punjab thought they had a chance, is if they get Phil Salt early, but Padikkal now is looking like the Padikkal we first saw in the IPL.
Yeah, 40 last game I think, and then backs it up with a 50. But the impressive part was the way that he started, and he got off to a flyer. And in a small run chase like that, well, it's not small, but it was a run chase that we always felt that they were going to get. You just need to break the back of the innings right there, and he certainly did that. Like Pudji said, that it just allowed Virat to slip into his normal role of just controlling the tempo, playing risk-free cricket, and like we were talking about earlier about the way that we thought that the Punjab Kings should have went about it in the first innings, like take some stock and build a partnership, and then look to launch at the back end. I know that it's not the way that the modern T20 player looks to play. They want to attack and go aerial all the time, but every now and then there's a time and a place for it. So clinical again.
First 50 plus score since?
His highest score in the IPL since 2021, which was back when he was at RCB against Chennai.
That's it. That's what I like from you. Yeah, we are seeing the best of Padikkal now, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you think back to the auction, he was actually unsold on the first day, and they got him in that sort of supermarket sweep bid on the second day when they'd missed out on Venki Iyer. Arguably, he's had as good a season as Venkatesh Iyer already.
And that's why I feel that they made a mistake of leaving him out of the playing 11 in the last game. Yeah. Because if he was there, being a left-hander, he could have made a big difference. Yeah,
they decided to go Bandage in his first game after they'd lost 5 or 6. But anything that you're noticing about Padikkal as to why he's now putting in the runs, batting well? I think he started slowly, and then he's just looked better with each game. What do you put that down?
I think his footwork is much better now, and he's getting close to the pitch of the ball. There were times where his leg used to go outside the leg stump, but now he's a lot closer. And there are times where in T20 format you need to take that leg away, but in a small run chase where you're allowed to get to the pitch of the ball, and if you can still play cricketing shots, and which he's trying to do now. So I think his bit more technically is little more better now. From where he was a couple of years back.
Particularly on wickets that aren't just absolute roads where the ball slides on. That's where you can give yourself some room or clear your front leg and use the pace and slice it square of the wicket. You have to have a bit more precise footwork when the wicket's a touch slower, when it's not just coming on perfectly. So get your weight into the ball, use your footwork and your body position to get power and not just your hands. Like we're seeing so many young players now, they try and stand still and use all their hands. When it doesn't come on perfectly, you're in some trouble.
What we've seen from Kohli is not something that should surprise us. But given the last few days and games, especially with this team involved, where KKR mess up a chase, where Rajasthan just cannot seem to find someone who understands the importance of batting through. The point we debated at half-time, when you're in, stay till the end. Sometimes I think we actually underestimate or take for granted the consistency aspect of Kohli even at this age.
Yeah, I mean, if you offered 650, 700 runs at the start of the year from one of your top 3 batters, no matter if your strike rate's 150 or 200, you would take that every single day because that just allows your team the platform to play around it. And that's when you can put some cowboys in the middle order who are ultra high risk. And they tried to do that with Livingston and it hasn't quite worked. You think back last year, they had Maxwell who played that high risk game as well. And Padikkal, he's looking to be overly aggressive as well. So it just allows you that platform. You know, once Virat gets in, very rarely does he get out for 30. So he's going deep in the innings, play aggressive around him, and then build your game around that.
I wonder whether this was the exact opposite of what we spoke of Shreyas Iyer in the pre-show, where he felt like he could sniff a win even out of 112 in the KKR game, whereas today, just didn't seem like Punjab got anything right after the Phil Salt wicket.
Yeah, I felt like RCB, that really important phase, I thought, was the last 4 overs of the power play. Obviously, having got that early wicket, they would have felt like they might have been able to crack the game open, but I think they scored 42 off overs 3 to 6. And from that point on, there was no scoring pressure, really. And I think, maybe you could say Shreyas could have been more proactive. But I think it's tricky in that situation, especially when you're up against another playoff contender. Do you want the risk of taking a huge net run rate hit against players who are as class as those two?
Anything that Punjab could have done second innings to make a game out of it, or do you sense this game was done at halftime?
It was. I thought they didn't have enough runs on the board, and their batters, they will have to think a lot about their batting, because we have seen that last 2-3 games their batters have struggled a bit, although they've been on the winning side, but at the same time, the way they've batted, they will have to think a lot about it.
The confidence that they will take, though, is that they've won games where they've been well behind the game. And if you look back at all T20 series, whether it's IPL, whether it's Big Bash or other comps around the world, you need to win those close games just to find your way into the playoffs, because anything can happen once you're there. But you often see early in the season, if a team loses a close one, they inevitably go on and lose majority of the close ones that they play throughout that season. So they should still take a lot of confidence through the season, but yeah, they're sloppy today.
When they win, it seems okay, but when they lose, are there still concerns in what looks like a very closely contested league table, Finchy, on whether they're getting the best use of their overseas batters in particular?
Yeah, it's a tough balance, isn't it? Because the two at the top, they've been reasonably damaging in that first couple of overs. So, if you look at Marcus Stoinis' record throughout his career, majority of his great performances have been in the top 3, particularly Big Bash Open in the batting. Great 100 at Chepauk last year for LSG. So Shreyas would be reluctant to move from 3. The 2 openers, they'll be reluctant to change those. So then it's about trying to find the right matchup for what you want your team to look like. That will probably come down now to weighing up Stoinis versus Maxwell going forward. Maxi can probably offer those off-spin overs that he's been brilliant throughout this season. So, it's going to be a really tough balancing act.